The American president spoke about an announcement that is due to make that phase 2 in the ceasefire in Gaza is going to take place, and he's going to announce it before the festive season or during the festive season, meaning in the next coming weeks. No one else apart from the American president spoke about this announcement apart from Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu said in a meeting that he had with the German chancellor that we're almost done with phase 1 and we're about to enter phase 2 in the Gaza Strip. However, Netanyahu seemed not satisfied. He spoke about the IDF, the force that's supposed to take place and go into Gaza after Israel withdraws, because phase 2 includes full Israeli withdrawal from every part of Gaza. However, Netanyahu said, I'm not sure that they will be able to do the job. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure that they'd be able to do their main objectives in Gaza. Israel is in effect preparing the ground for its total withdrawal from the Gaza Strip and is trying to save face as much as possible. But we haven't seen things on the ground now that prove that Israel is about to withdraw. Apart from these statements that Trump and Netanyahu had, nothing on the ground seems imminent. There's nothing that Israel did up until now that indicate that it's actually leaving Gaza. So we had this report in Israel about excess drivers for generals, inflated teams for brigaders, and the waste of manpower in the IDF. Now, mind you, what they're trying to say here is that we don't really need a lot of people, hence why we're cutting down our forces by a third. Do you know what a third is? Israel just said that it was going out of an existential war, 7-front war. What do you mean cutting down by a third? Israel already got its ground forces by 2/3 in the past 2 decades, and it was criticized heavily for it and was blamed for it for the lack of success and huge failure in the ground battles, primarily in Gaza. However, this report here confirms that dramatic changes are coming to the Israeli army. We know very well that over 50% of Israelis refuse conscription, but that's not related to it. That's related to the people who are serving now. Cutting by a third, and that being public knowledge, Israel actually going ahead with it, means that Israel is going to be reducing the operations in the coming period. Now, they are not indicating that they're going to reduce operations. They're not saying and confirming that they're definitely going to withdraw from the multiple places that they're occupying, by the way, whether it's in Gaza, in Lebanon, or in Syria. But we're talking about a huge number here. Some people thought that this might translate to some of the withdrawals that they're going to take place both in Syria and Lebanon, because there were advanced talks. However, this is most likely concerning Gaza, because the majority of the Israeli forces, Israeli terror forces, are present in Gaza, in what is called outside the yellow line, where Israel is still present in up until the end of phase 1. So, in essence, Israel is almost confirming that they're definitely going to withdraw from Gaza, regardless of how phase 2 would look like. Whether Netanyahu is happy with the IDF or not happy, whether they will be disarming or not disarming, they're taking steps now that indicate that they are withdrawing from Gaza. What does that mean? What does this report exactly mean when it comes to the developments on the ground and the results of the Israeli operation? Well, it means one very simple thing, that Israel failed. Israel failed miserably. They did not accomplish the objectives of the war and genocide in Gaza, yet they are withdrawing without being content with the position or the job that the IDF is going to do. But it didn't just end there, because from an Israeli perspective, again, they have these small news bits here and there to test the waters and see how they're going to be taken by the public. Now they are confirming, and that's not just from the political echelon, that's from the Israeli army, that's from the IDF, that Hamas is returning to almost complete control of the Gaza Strip. The ceasefire in Gaza allows Hamas to regain control of the Strip despite Israel's efforts on the matter. In the cabinet discussion, the defense establishment warned the political echelon that Hamas is strengthening and restoring its capabilities and returning to almost complete control of the Strip. Senior IDF officials say that Israel needs to build an independent operational plan to demilitarize the Strip. The American plan does not provide an answer to this. And I want to stop at this point here. The United States is supposed to be the side that is going to guarantee, according to previous Israeli reports, the disarming of the Palestinian resistance. However, now senior officials from the IDF are saying that the American plan does not provide an answer to the demilitarization. And what do they mean by Israel needs to build an independent operational plan to demilitarize the Strip? It's either you do it with your own genocide troops, and you cannot and will not, or someone else will. And we know very well that no one else is going to do that, because all of the countries that were requested to participate in the International Stabilization Force said that we're not going to confront the Palestinian resistance. They said we're willing to participate as peacekeeping forces or separate the forces, be on the borders, fine. Participate in front or against the Palestinian resistance, not gonna happen. And that is one of the most direct and blunt statements of Israel, that their campaign in Gaza totally failed. They failed to achieve what they want. The ISF is not going to achieve what they want. And now the IDF themselves are saying that the Americans are not going to achieve what we want inside of Gaza. Absolute and total failure.